I was thinking for a couple of sessions last week, and then I said, let it be renamed as Mindfulness 24 by 7. We cannot eat, drink, sleep. We cannot fight. We cannot be stressed 24 by 7. Have you ever noticed it? One doctor, I'm missing his name, he said that you cannot become angry even for 3 minutes. If that anger is the highest and it continues more than 3 minutes, there is always a chance after 40 that you may have a heart attack in a week. We cannot be angry 24 by 7. Means what? All these are actions. Pay attention. All these are actions, karma. No action can continue 24 by 7. What are you doing? I'm eating. You cannot eat for 24 by 7. Beautiful. Background, Brandy. Yeah. So our background is always looking good, but we have to find what is real self. So no action continues for 24 by 7. But if we want to be in mindfulness 24 by 7, only the knowledge is required. What is that knowledge? That is awareness. Whether you say awareness or knowledge. Second point to understand that mindfulness 24 by 7, what it means. It means we are in that state when? All the time. Where? Everywhere. In what condition? In all the condition. So what is the definition of mindfulness? Mindfulness transcends time, space, and condition and situation. How simple? Huh, Sam? How simple is it? Understanding is required. When I want to be in the state of mindfulness, here and now, all the time, in all the space, in all locations, in all the conditions, means that. But what is that which transcends the time, space, and condition? Am I making the things difficult? No, it's so simple. What is that transcends time, space, and location and condition? That is not subjected to change. Because if it changes, then it is related. And when it is related, then it cannot remain as it is 24 by 7. So it demands a self inquiry. It does not demand any practice. What effort, what action I need to do to know you? So we have to understand how this knowledge works in the mind. Now see that simple question, is your body with me or is your mind with me? So if your mind is not with me, it means you need to become a seeker to treat the path. Mind is wandering somewhere, it is obsessed, it keeps on thinking, it is not one pointed, it is not paying attention. So the master says, I have to be a seeker to discover that state of mindfulness. What is behind all? Consciousness behind the body, consciousness behind the ears, consciousness behind the eyes, consciousness behind a particular event, consciousness behind the eating, consciousness behind drinking. You see that? Consciousness helps you to drink, even vodka. So connection has to be cut. The mind has to be a seeker. Otherwise, that consciousness is behind. That is only one consciousness is behind. Listening, talking, eating, drinking, angry, hesitated. That we don't recognize. We recognize stress. And then we identify with the stress that I am stressed. Yes, you are always full of stress. You are born with the stress. You are a special being because you have stress. Consciousness behind all thoughts, body, mind, intellect, ego. No consciousness, no thought. Come on, no consciousness, no stress. No consciousness, no anger. So I forget the real. I go by the unreal. And then we suffered. And that is why our master says this world is a big drama. It's a big theater. It's a big theater. You see that behind every machine there is electricity. Oh, I cannot call. Why? Because energy is not there in the phone. And behind energy there is a consciousness. Energy comes and goes. Energy is exhausted. So this is how our masters uses different metaphors to explain. Even our live session is like a drama taking place. What is that in drama? Speaking, listening, understanding, feeling, computer screen. Oh, computer screen. Oh, I understand. I do not understand. This is, this is all the drama. Because that consciousness cannot be understood and seen by the sense organs in the mind. Hence, we cannot we cannot know it by no we cannot know it by sense organs in the mind. So that is why I'm just bringing I have deviated a bit from this text make you understand what is a metaphor and how this metaphor, symbolism, images, comparisons, simile, science uses all the time. Have you seen that atom, matter is atom, and the atom consists of electron, proton, and neutron, and proton and the neutron is at the center. So that picture is a metaphor. Do you think that atom works like this? So it's a symbol, it's an image. So it helps us vividly visualize unfamiliar concepts. And that helps us to know the truth, the real self. She is going through a roller coaster of emotions. Metaphor. Do you see that? Our emotions can take a ride on a roller coaster. So this metaphor simply means the person is going through a lot of different moods. Terry? Terry is going through a roller coaster of emotions. Metaphor. You see that? Emotions can't take a ride on the roller coaster. But if you misuse this metaphor, then nothing will happen. In order not to misuse, I have to be a seeker. His words cut it deeper than a knife. Can the word cut it? Words don't materialize into a sharp object. It is also a metaphor. Someone has said something hurtful. It is hurting. I'm feeling blue. There are many in Hindi also and in English also. We have a lot of metaphors. I'm feeling blue means I'm very sad. I told you, if you are not a seeker, this non-practice will not work. Oh, who cares, even if it not works. I have a lot of things to do. Yes, that is ignorance. You let me use a very simple metaphor to understand the creation. Upanishads, our great masters, that cream of the knowledge is Upanishads. A spider web. A spider that spins out a silken threads from its body and creates a web, after which it goes and sits at it, sits in the heart of that web. From where the thread has come? From the spider. From where this name and the shape has come? From the consciousness. Are you getting it? One consciousness. It is like the real self sits inside the web of the body, breath, mind, thought, intellect, ego, emotions. Spider creates everything from itself, not from outside. Are you sure? Have you seen it? Physical. It's a physical metaphor. So the real self creates everything out of itself. Where is the problem? What do you mean? It creates a stress in me also? No, it doesn't create, because you give an interpretation of a particular event is a stress. And that is your ignorance. When you remove the ignorance, you find the real self. That is why we say it is a non-practice. That is why we say mindfulness. Oh, so I'm speaking and you have understood? Yes, I have understood. Have you realized? Yes, I have realized. After an hour, you fall into stress. Do you realize? So, who claims I have realized? I have to go, I have to find the very finest thread. That is ego. Ego will always be visible, will cause a lot of problems as long as we are ignorance. Look at this spider. Brings forth everything, builds his home, lives in it, dies in it. We are consciousness. We take birth in consciousness. We take birth in consciousness. We die in consciousness. We die. We grow in consciousness. Another metaphor used by another great master. Yeah, in Amrit Bindu Upanishad. So he says that extract the knowledge from the mind and the intellect. When you extract that knowledge is pure consciousness. Understand again by another metaphor. So then we will take the metaphor explained by this master. Let us take an example of a clay pot and clay. Clay pot and the clay, the relationship of real and the false. Relationship between the body and the consciousness is the relationship between the real and the false. How to understand? Real has independent existence, false has dependent existence. Tell me, clay pot has a dependent existence and clay is independent existence. Body has dependent existence because it is constantly changing. Whatever is dependent existence is constantly changing. Who came before? Clay pot or clay? Even before the clay pot, clay was there. Before this body, consciousness was there. During pot, clay is there. After pot, clay is there. Clay body is gone, clay is there. That is the journey of mindfulness. What is? Look at it. Ask another question. Where is the clay in this pot? Come on. Everywhere. Where is the consciousness in this body? Everywhere. Look at it. We use the metaphor to understand the whole of the pot is pervaded by the clay. The whole of the body, breath, mind, sense organs, you, me, the entire world is pervaded by the consciousness. And that consciousness is me. That is real self. Clay is all over the place. Is it not? Clay is all over the place in a clay pot. At the same time, my friends, at the same time, that clay remains intrinsically free from the potness. Did you understand? Say yes. I'm repeating. That clay is deeper within, intrinsically remains all the time free from the potness. That real self is intrinsically remains free from bodiness, Girishness, Samness, Terryness, Stephenness,
Ashokness.
Brandiness. That is real self. Where? Here and now. Everywhere. Clay pot of different sizes. Different sizes, clay pot, Ashok, Weber, clay pot, Terry, different sizes. That is the difference between the real self and the false self. False do not exist without the real self. It is superimposed. Remove that superimposition. Superimposition, you need not to remove it physically. You have to remove it mentally by knowledge. Remove the superimposition of Stephen, shape, form, profession, name, etc., etc. What is left is the real self. Wherever there is real self, wherever there is a false self or ignorance, there must be real self. So I must understand by knowledge, I have to find the real self. Drop that superimposition. Means drop that ignorance. So what is the ignorance now? What is that ignorance? So did you understand? Where there is a false self, there is a real self. That is why we say God is omniscient. I'm not going into the release. God is omniscient, God is omnipotent, it is all pervasive, etc., etc. We are not talking the God. We are talking of who am I? I'm all pervasive. Why? Because I'm the real self. See that? So where there is a false self, there has to be a real self. Where there is a stress, there is a peace also already there. You don't recognize, I've got a problem. Yes, yes, because you are worthy of suffering. Keep on suffering. Nobody can stop you if you declare that you are suffering. Keep on suffering. So, where lies the confusion? Where lies the ignorance? Whatever is objective, I give it a level of absolute reality. Body is objective, I will die. How can you die? You are not the body. How can you die? How can you have a pain? Body has a pain, accept it, treat it, get the best treatment. Modern allopathy, homeopathy, etc., anyone. Or transcend the body. I just explained you. Transcend the clay pot. So I gave I declare, my mind in ignorance declares that this body is real, this mind is real, what are the experiences of the mind is real. I cannot find the real self, come on. I cannot find even the clay which I'm looking in the clay pot. Do you see that? Do you see that ignorance? Clay is there. I don't see the clay. I see the clay pot. Clay pot is broken. What should I do? Don't do anything. Be crazy. Do you see that? You see the clay, but the mind has superimposed the false for all the purposes. You declare that clay pot is real and it is constantly changing. That is the problem of ignorance. We'll pick up one more issue. Look at the same metaphor of clay pot. That clay pot is totally, you cannot say that it is totally unreal. I see it. I see the body. And we cannot say it is absolutely real. It demands a lot of contemplation. I told you in the Monday session, you have 4 skill sets: discernment, dispassion, 6 treasures, and the intense desire for freedom. All the 4, you are the highest seeker. Saturday's session are meant for them. No, you all are seekers. I'm just explaining. Do you remember, or the mind was somewhere else? Clay pot is neither totally unreal and nor absolutely real. That is why it appears true, it is not. I told you again, when the clay pot is broken, your cup is, oh my goodness, it costed $10, I bought it. I don't see the clay. I don't see the clay, my friends. The clay is there. It is here and now. You are understanding through the same consciousness. Body is neither unreal nor absolutely real. Am I sure? Are you sure about it? Body is a clay pot, is neither totally unreal nor absolutely real. Last point, to understand that is the journey of these metaphors. There are many metaphors. We Indians, we have become more educated in science, and we say, okay, this is what these Upanishads and teachers have explained. It is already a hogwash. It's a wastage of time. Everything is explained in symbolism because we don't have any other means. See, the last point is very important. Now everything is important, you say so. My mind has started taking you casually. So you are not a seeker. Everything is important. So that clay is free from part, property, and name in the shape of the pot. That consciousness is free from the name and the form and the gender and the profession and the age. I'm using a parallel metaphor. Clay is free from the attributes of the pot. What are the attributes? A specific shape, size, color, content, a fixed amount of the space or water you can put it. Are you getting it? Say yes. Even though, even though appearing as pot, clay pot, clay is free from the potness. As though appearing seemingly as Stephen, consciousness is free from Stephen, from Sam, from Terry. Where it is here and now. I am that play, I am that consciousness. You are not a seeker. Oh, yes, it brought a smile on my face, and you are not a seeker. Then what happens? That I am the body then starts suffering. Oh, the one consciousness appearing as many, as Sam, as Terry, as Ashoka, as Steve. Living into that state is the meaning of mindfulness 24/7. That's the beauty of teachings of our great masters. So recognize the attributes of the body, the mind, intellect, and the thought, and the ego. Just recognize first the attributes and recognize they are appearing on the consciousness. It is not me. So those people who want to be in a hurry, I gave an example of that. I don't want to name him. Now he is in the final year of his medical examination. He started taking the drugs, and at the same time, he said, within 6 months, I will awaken myself to the real self, and then I'll be a medical doctor. By taking drugs, I have to be a seeker. So say, close your eyes. Eyes are the attributes of the body, and I'm different. Come on. So simple. Be comfortable. If you are uncomfortable, that is also an attribute of the body, and you are comfortable. That is also an attribute of the body. You are free from the attributes of the bodiness. That knowledge, that awareness is already there. You are there. How dare you say you are suffering? Clay pot will suffer, will break up, can be destroyed, but the clay cannot be destroyed. Present in the clay pot. You crush it into the powder. You throw it into the earth, that existence is always there. Metaphor. Don't start, saying that the clay is consciousness. Pick up. The mind says, no, I feel some sensation. Okay, it is an attribute of the body experienced by the mind. Sensation is an attribute in the mind. And I am free from all the attributes. What are those attributes? The stress, anxiety, pleasure, eating, drinking, sleeping, all actions are attributes. Because it is changing. I'm changeless. Realize the ignorance. Ignorance lies whatever the mind experiences. I say and declare, here I am. I'm an object. I'm an objective reality. That causes the problem. That is ignorance. I told you again and again. Clay is free from the partness. Consciousness is free from bodiness, mindness, thoughtness, stressness, pleasureness, anxietyness. How dare mind can ever cause any stress in my life? Mindness, thoughtness. So when you take what comes to the mind as a real, obviously, then you are suffering. I should be pity. That is the journey of mindfulness 24/7. Whatever the instructions I give has to be objective because we understand through the mind. Mind moves in a linear fashion. I cannot say, oh, come on, here is a tea in a clay. No, I say, here is a tea in a cup, in a tumbler. Do you hear me behind the words? Those who hear me behind the words, they are seekers. What do you mean by it? It simply means I say, have a cup of tea. So, fact is that I'm saying, here is a clay that appears as a clay pot and a clay cup where the tea is there. Here in this body, consciousness is there. Why people do not get awakened? You see that? 8 billion people. I heard that more than 50% of the people are aware of mindfulness meditation and they don't reach anywhere. 1 minute, 2 minutes of meditation. Again, look at the breath. I have to say that looking at the breath is not a practice. You are aware of the breath. The breath appears as in one attribute on the consciousness. When I see from that point of understanding and awareness, we do not have a death or the birth. Well, breath is life. That is what people say, but the breath is superimposed on the consciousness. My mind says this is the only thing real, but it is changing. It is one of the many attributes. We have trillions of impression that pulls us to declare and acclaim that this body is real, this breath is real, this mind is real, this intellect is real, absolutely real, this any movement, slight movement, we fall into ignorance and then there is a problem. Can it happen in a day? Yes. You're at the highest level of the seeker. It is already happening. You're looking at the breath. So then the mind recognizes the attribute of the breath. It is going in and out. Oh, another ignorance has taken place. It is going inside me. No, it is going inside the body. And I'm not the body. It is going outside the body. Okay, it is going inside the body, obviously in the space. It is going outside the body in the space. Space is an attribute of the mind. What do you mean? Yes. And mind seemingly appears on the consciousness. I know it. I'm already there. I told you we don't need any practice. It's a non practice. Even the mind cannot explain what is the non practice. Why? Consciousness is a non practice, non actor, non doer, non enjoyer. It doesn't need anything to enjoy because it is of the nature of bliss. It does not want to know anything. It is of the nature of knowledge. It is of the nature of peace. It does not need anything. So, non action, non doer, non enjoyer, can our mind recognize that state? When it recognizes that state, you are already there. Any experience, the mind jumps onto the body, it feels the sensation. Do I recognize that sensation appears? Whether it's a good or bad, who cares? It is an attribute of the body. Experienced in the mind, it is again an attribute in the mind. Why to worry? Because the mind prompts us to act, and there we fall into ignorance. We lose that awareness. So looking casually at the breath, now recognizing it is going in the body, coming out of the body. Body is also is like a clay pot, is different from the clay pot. Body ness. Consciousness is free from the body ness, mind ness, thought ness. No worries. The mind goes to the breath, it's okay. Mind leaves the breath, that too is okay. Mind becomes aware of the sensation, peace, and the calmness, that is also okay. Or the mind invokes and invites the thoughts, that is also okay because I'm independent. That consciousness is independent, is free from that thoughtness of the mind. I believe you're getting it. Do I need to go inside the mind to discover my real self? No. The way I don't need to go inside the pot to discover the clay. It is all pervading in the pot. It is all pervading in the body, mind, intellect, thought, feeling, sensation, stress, pleasure, duality, conflict, confusion. Because in conflict and confusion, our mind becomes more or less totally unconscious, habitual, impulsive, instinctive. In that state, we cannot find the real self. So the master says, become a seeker. So we are clear. Clay pot. Can I say it is a clay pot, but it is clay is not the clay pot. Now use the same metaphor. It is not the body, it is in the body. That's a limited expression by the mind. Highest level of a seeker picks up the knowledge behind the words in the sentences in the teaching. So when I say it is not the body, it is in the body. It is all pervasive. It is in the breath. So mind keeps looking onto the breath, but it is in the breath, not the breath. So wherever the mind goes, it perceives, it experiences. Do we have that cognitive ability that it is not that where the mind goes, but it is inside that? My eyes goes to the Sam. It is not the Sam, but it is inside the Sam. Goes to the Terry. It is not the Terry, but in the Terry. Not the Brownie, but in the Brownie. So it is here and now that transcends the time and the space and the location, condition. You're in a state of doing nothing. Means what? You separated yourself from being a doer and the enjoyer. A doer and enjoyer are the attributes of the clay pot in the metaphor of the body, mind, intellect, ego, thoughts, feeling, sensation, impulsive nature. I'm none of them. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand. Attribute. Bring your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms. Place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. How are you, Stephen? Can you speak? No.
No, I can. I can speak. um, well, it's been a very challenging week. So, but at the same time, just listening to what you're saying today, it really ties the listening, learning, contemplation, reflection that I've had all week. Um, you know, as most of you, I have COVID that just beat the crap out of me the first part of this week, and it really, I couldn't. It took away everything from me, and I kept repeating to myself, "I'm not the body," and I'm like, okay, what does that really mean? And I know I'm going through all this seeker and all this other stuff, and it really brought on this realization, which was culminated by today's conversation, was the fact that I'm not the body, and and I realized that when I was actually more at peace and happier this week than ever before. And then as I'm reflecting on it, I go, how could that possibly be? And then I realized was that what was happening to me physically was physical. It wasn't who I was, but it took away, because of how sick I was, it took away all that other stuff that I had to worry about, because I couldn't make myself anything to eat. I couldn't barely eat. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't do anything else. So all I had to do was to think about all this stuff. I go, how can I be at peace with all this? And I realized it's actually my real self. And it now all makes sense. So in a way, it was kind of a blessing. Um, and now I'm kicking its ass, and I've had this realization. So I'm in a good place. So thank you.
Good, good, wonderful. Sam, are you learning? On one hand, we have a lot of suffering, for example, in the body. But when the ignorance drops, your mind declares that I'm not the body. Everything is taken care of. That realization comes. He rightly said he was contemplating, Stephen was contemplating, learning, listening, contemplating, reflecting throughout the week. He perhaps never missed a single day. We miss all this, and the mind is full of garbage, craziness, and laziness. That's the difference. Are you getting Terry?
Yes.
Yes. How are you?
Every minute is my practice. Every minute.
Good. How are you, Brandy?
Thank you, Stephen.
Even yeah, that's a beautiful explanation. Yes.
Yeah, I get well, Stephen. I'm sorry to hear you've had COVID. Um, I was able to create some much needed separation today, too. You know, I haven't, unlike Stephen, maybe I haven't been in this space all week, but my practice was really fruitful today, and that I was able to go, okay, all of this, not me.
Not me.
Good.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thanks.
You have to contemplate. Contemplation means a conscious thinking. And when the thought enters from the back door, only then it says that you are suffering. How are you, Sam?
Good. I felt uh, a lightness that I haven't felt in a while, as well as um, I told you I was having pain in different parts of my body, but I felt a connectedness of my body that almost took the pain away.
Yeah. Yeah, I told you, just remember these metaphors. It works so deeply. Play part, play. Bodiness causes all the problems because I identify myself. How are you, Rakesh?
Thank you, sir. So during the practice, the breath, the thoughts, the body, all these things were at a distance from me.
Hmm.
And I was in peace with the darkness throughout.
Beautiful. That's a good point. I feel that I'm separate from it. Good. How are you, Vaibhav?
So I'm good. It's like that. I'm at the back and I'm at a constant state. It was going and everything is changing, which I'm not, and it was smooth.
Yeah, yeah. That's another good expression. Everything was going smooth inside, or we can say at the center. And the rest are a drama. It's a big drama outside. Sam and Terry. It's a big drama outside. I'm not the part of drama. I'm a witness of that drama. How are you, Ashok?
Namaste, sir.
Namaste,
Uh,
sir.
I am peace and calm. Nothing
Peace and calm.
thinking.
Peace and calm. Look at it. Understanding is required. The ultimate journey of mindfulness or any meditation, or the ultimate goal of the Eastern wisdom, is to know what we are. So that used to prompt me to ask a question when I used to give some intensive program in India and here also in New York and New Jersey. I used to have 2 or 3 days of intensive program. And my question that how long it takes you to reach to your house from your workplace? 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Then ask yourself how long it takes me to reach to myself. How long it takes me to reach to myself. So through this question is a metaphor. So in that metaphor, I become aware where I am here, where I have to reach here. So there is no time in the space. There is no condition. I'm already here. So sometimes people say, oh, it takes many years. It takes many lives. So that tells your state of the mind because you are not a seeker. If you're not a seeker, obviously, then we have to guide you to become a seeker. That is all for today. Think and contemplate. We'll meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Namaste.
you, sir. Namaste.